Hello, welcome back to Rogue Mystic Divination, and this is going to be the weekly tarot for January 12th through 18th, 2025. And we are going to be doing 3 cards for every sign, and everything should be timestamped within the first comment below, so keep a lookout for that. And here we go, starting with the collective. So the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and the Moon. Everything in the upright. So it looks as though everyone needs to focus on working efficiently this week. If you are making plans, ensure that they are actually helping move you towards something that you want with the Two of Wands. You will have plenty of decisions to make, and there may be some travel plans ahead, but ensure you're not moving towards something that is actually what it seems to be. There could be some secrets or some wishful thinking that's driving you towards something, and it could be because of a failure to communicate. This could also be that someone is making decisions that directly affect you and may cause you to have to change your plans, and it will end up moving you into a direction that you may not see at the beginning of the week, but right around the middle, you'll find out that your hard work is going to send you in a totally different direction than you thought it was. Ensure that you are prioritizing practicality, because there could be some kind of emotional influence that you're not being directly affected by, but it's almost like you're a third party that's being affected by it. Now, it does not mean that this has to be a romantic relationship. This could be that you're working with a coworker or with a business partner and somebody else is affecting them. Now, this could be positively or negatively. I'm not really getting any direct kind of feedback on that, other than this other person is moving this person that you're directly connected to somehow, and it does feel like it's manipulative, but I can't tell if it's positive or negative or what their end goal is right now, so it may come up more in the individual signs. You will be making progress either way, and if it is a negative influence, it's likely that next week or this weekend it will end up helping you solidify that you are not supposed to be a part of this partnership, and maybe it's run its course. Your involvement with this person has run its course, and it's time for you to start focusing on some of your own individual plans. Now that you helped build this structure with this other person, it's time for you to leave it and start on a new project. Now we are going to move on to Ophiuchus. Someone is coming clean about what they were doing, and it may be because of a message or some kind of communication somebody else is involved in. It feels as though somebody is being honest about something that they did, or the purpose behind some of their actions, but they're not telling the whole truth. It's not a court of public opinion. It's just like they stopped getting the attention for what it is that they were doing, and they're not getting anything out of it anymore, so they need to find some way to get some kind of involvement from other people in their life. So they decide to become honest about it so that other people become confrontational with them. This could end up ruining some of the happy memories that you have involving this person, realizing that it was only manipulation, but In the end, I find this coming kind of full circle because of deductive reasoning. Like, this person did this because of some kind of manipulative bad action from somebody else. So they did this to cover that up. But it was protecting somebody else from some kind of negative influence. So in the end, there was purpose behind it. And even though there may be some rough spots this week, there is going to be communication coming in. And I don't really feel any travel coming in or travel manifesting, but it seems like it's going to be more of a back and forth communication wise about how you feel about this person and how they handle things. Even though temperance didn't come up for this Ophiuchus, I do believe patience is a virtue that you may have to tap into in order to be able to handle everything that's going on. It doesn't feel like it's very physically active, but just that there's like a lot of communication. Maybe somebody went to therapy and the therapist convinced them that they wanted to come clean about this for a while, and so they finally are. It all looks like it does come out in the end, and everything works out all right for you. Nothing too treacherous, just a lot of communication, a lot of back and forth, and it may be a little hard to keep up with. Now we are moving on to Aries. And we have our first reversal. Nope, our second reversal. With the Page of Swords, Okay, with the Page of Swords coming up with the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Hermit, I keep reading the Five of Cups as the Hermit. The Five of Cups is going to most likely end up sending someone into Hermit mode. So if you have been kind of in a back and forth relationship with somebody else, it's almost as though they have decided to, you know what, never mind, I don't want to be involved with you. I want to be deeply involved with this other person, and then they almost show it off in a way that you thought that they would show you off or show off your relationship with them. And it ends up with you regretting that you spent this amount of time and this much energy in this person. But that decision for them could end up backfiring, and because they put all of this into this other person, it ends just as quickly as it begins. Now, ensure that you're not this person that is involved with somebody else, and even though you don't align very well with what each other wants and what each other needs, or even what the other person finds interesting, if you're not aligning with someone, realize it. And as much as this relationship could look good on paper, in practice it's not working out, and it may end up putting you into a position of loss and grief. I do believe, Aries, that the key to you understanding what's going on is understanding what it is that you actually want, and that you won't always get it from the person that you think you're supposed to be getting it from. And now we are up to Taurus. So, juggling priorities because you've overcommitted yourself, and you're going to find that there's something you just need to put to rest because it might not be an issue that you actually need to focus on. You may just have to let somebody else deal with what it is that they need to deal with and realize that something is not your problem. Because the Two of Pentacles is kind of like having I also want to say a third wheel on a bicycle, but they make trucks for a reason, so. You could be the extra person stirring the pot that doesn't need to be stirring the pot. And this unnecessary input could be actually throwing off the balance of things. Always being the person that whenever you're talking to someone and they're telling you what's going on and why they're having an issue with something, could just be that they're expressing their difficulty and trying to work it out in their own head, and talking about it helps. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily asking for your opinion. Being that person that says, well, why didn't you do it like this? Well, why don't you do it like that? And second guessing every tiny little step of what it is that they're doing is just going to shut down communication, not just for that situation, but for others. So with the Four of Swords, it could be better for you to just be the not necessarily shoulder crying, because this doesn't feel like a distress kind of a situation, but just someone that's willing to listen and almost be a mirror for the person that's trying to speak to you and communicate. And then after they get all of their brain jumble out, just doing that could help them figure out the solution to what it is that they needed help with. But there may come a time where they ask for your opinion or they ask for your assistance. For the most part, though, it seems as though this week is going to end with you finally figuring out how to communicate and deal with a relationship without controlling every aspect of it. Understanding that there's two pentacles, there's two sides to the infinity loop, and that it's a feedback loop. And you don't have to be the page or the magician holding these two, holding up both sides, holding up the entire relationship. You can't allow it to be a two-sided situation, and doing so could actually help you reach a harmony point in a difficult relationship or a difficult situation that you're dealing with. Now, moving on to Gemini. Isolation could be the key to you getting something done this week. If everyone that you're pulling into your projects or to any situation is not working out because you don't, this could be that these relationships work whenever they're in different situations, but whenever it's involving something specific, it doesn't work because there's too much clash. Everyone has their own opinion and everyone wants to be the boss, even though it's not their project, even though it's not their purpose for being there. They find that if they're involved in it, well, they have controlling power over it. And most likely by the end of the week, you're going to end up just saying that in order to save this relationship, we are not going to be working together anymore. We do not work in this context, and that is pretty obvious by what's been going on. And as much as I appreciate your input at this point in time, we cannot do this together. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be completely uninvolving yourself from this person, whether it's it almost feels as like you have a business or you have something that you're the head of, or even not even the head of, but just working at, and this other person, you get a friend a job and they're not getting it, they're not working out the way that you hoped that they would, and even though you work well as a friendship outside of work, whenever you're at work together, you can see why there's problems, or why it is that they're having problems with somebody else. And I'm not going to say this isn't going to cause a long-term rift or a long-term change in the relationship, though, because it seems as though it will. Almost as though you're proving that you're the more practical, responsible one. So a little bit of authoritarian, a little bit of practicality for Gemini this week, but you do have to stand behind your own ideas. And that's not going to be a bad thing for you. And if somebody else finds that to be bad for them, then they can, by all means, look at their own actions and see why it is that they didn't work out. Why this new change happened with something that was supposed to be so good. But now we are moving on to Cancer. Cancer for the week. The devil is in the details, so be careful what you wish for. There is going to be some movement, but it's going to most likely be a personal transition that not everybody's going to be able to go along with you for. Some unfinished business could be coming up, but it could end up granting you a wish. And ensure that this doesn't lead you back into a previous codependent relationship and lead to some negative attachments that were really just holding you back all along. There is responsibility and harmony in your future. However, it's a question of how you get there, and if you close up these loose ends, it could actually help you attain what is it you wanted all along. So trust your intuition, and there is good fortune for you this week.